Hello. We'll give it a second for people to get in here. Just want to make sure this is going. Yep, I think we are. But how you doing, Jaden? Other than that,
I'm chilling. I got no complaints right now, to be honest.
yep. Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. But let's just hop right into it. Welcome back to Miami. Oh, wrong background. Miami Primetime Live. Shay here with Jaden. It's brought to you by FanDuel Sports. Jaden, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Shay. You're a Patriots fan. You have your guy at quarterback.
I
I think
do.
Miami's got their guy at quarterback.
It feels like we'll dive into all the portal stuff very soon, but that's the main thing everybody wants to hear about. Now I don't really have the inside connects like that, but I think reading on Twitter, reading the tea leaves, it seems like we're trending in that direction. They had the story come out yesterday where they're working towards a resolution, so probably a settlement out of court before it hits court for Mensa.
The Dennis Smith tweet,
Yep,
always a sprint, not a marathon. It means something.
gotta
And
mean
there were rumors. Well, there weren't rumors. I saw it. Darren Mensa was on campus today.
Oh,
At
I didn't even see
Yes,
him.
he was.
Okay.
Everything's trending towards what we had been expecting, and it feels pretty good. I'm not gonna. It's not official yet, but it feels trending towards a settlement happening between Mensa and Duke, and the Mensa coming to Miami for a very large sum, but it's not our money, and he is likely to be our quarterback, and that feels pretty damn good considering what we were talking about. As we kind of finished the season, we were like, who's going to be the quarterback? Emory Williams,
You miss out on
Luke
Levitt.
Fickell, Darion Coleman, because you miss out on all these guys. You miss out on Sorsby, you miss out on Levitt. You try for pretty much half the guys in the portal. You miss out on pretty much all of them. You say, well, what if we didn't go through the portal and you force Mensa out? And from what it looks like Miami's got their guy, and that feels pretty good.
Yeah, very much, and does feel really good just because you know the type of guy he is. We saw what he's able to do in the ACC this year. Now, Duke might have lost 5 games, but Mensa was phenomenal this year. Second all ACC, and what he's able to do. What was it? 34 total touchdowns. That's like
Yeah.
7 picks,
Six interceptions.
6 interceptions, and especially good if you consider what he might be bringing alongside with him with Cooper Barkade.
Ooh, elite
Also,
white boy. Elite white boy.
with him coming in too. So I like what we could do. I like what this team could be shaping up with this offensive unit. That receiving core next year, if you bring in if Mentz is able to bring Barkay with them, with him, Malley, Josh Moore potentially stepping up, the two Vaughn or Jacobs potentially stepping up in their roles. Maybe one of these true freshmen come in and dominate like Malley did. So I like the grouping that we got here at wide receiver, and then you give him a guy like Mensa to throw to. I still think there's some work to be done with this offensive line. You're not able to land Jordan Seaton, which is the main guy Miami was seeming to go after on that offensive line to kind of build up that tackle duo, because now both Maui Noah and Markel Bell out the door right now, and so you want to you got Matthew McCoy coming back, you got Samson Okanola coming back, and you have why am I blanking on the third one? You have Jackson Campbell most likely stepping in as the number one player in the country. You expect he's going to be playing a significant role as a freshman. So you have those 3 guys coming in. And you really need to fill out 2 more offensive line spots. Would have been nice to land a guy like Seaton, given his pedigree, but we'll see how that rest of that offensive line group shapes out. I got faith in Mirabal. But Jane, how do you feel so far about what the portal's meant for Miami?
I was talking about this on Thursday with the call-in show people, and I kept making it clear. I think everything looks to be either revamped, reloading, or just like flat out better than it was last year, apart from the offensive line. I think everything except for the offensive line, I look at right away and I say, wow, this is going to be fun. You found a way to retain your entire running back group, all 6 guys. That's incredible. The fact that you were able to retain Lyle and Pringle, who entered the portal, withdrew, came back. Lyle, who I thought was going to enter, came back.
He was really gone.
Yeah, I mean, he was going to be the starting running back week 1, gets hurt, never really kind of finds his way back into that rhythm. Hopefully next year that changes. Marty Brown stays. Mark Fletcher's doing another year. Whole running back group stays. Receiver, you lose JoJo, you lose Nye Carr. You wish them the best of luck. But you're potentially getting 3 transfer portal receivers, a return of Josh Moore, a potential return of Dalen Upshaw, Malachi Tony, and a true freshman group that, in my opinion, is elite between Samorian Wing, Milan Paris, and Van Spafford. Like, those are 3 guys right away that I think can easily make an impact, and they're going to be among the bottom of that rotation. And then, again, offensive line, we talked about it. I do trust Mirabal, but there are concerns in my opinion. Like,
100%.
when you lose a top 10 pick in the draft and Markel Bell, who's unbelievable, stepped up, did a great job, you are asking a lot. It's going to be an entirely new offensive line. Like, Matthew McCoy is going to have to, assuming, I believe he's coming back, is going to have to step up, and he might have to play, offensive tackle. I know you brought in 2 portal guys between Jonathan Klein yesterday and then Jamal Merriweather from Georgia. I think there was another guy. You've done a decent job in the portal at offensive line, but it's like Jackson Cantwell is going to have to step up right away.
Yeah.
I know maybe SJ Sways might have to step up at offensive line. Like, there's a lot of different guys you're looking at and be like, these guys are going to have to step up if you really want to see the offensive line playing to the level it was. I do think they'll take a step back, but when you have a quarterback like Darian Mensah, who in my eyes is much better than Carson Beck as an overall talent wise as a quarterback, I think you can live with a worse offensive line but a better quarterback.
Yeah, I think definitely that new element that Mensah, if Miami's able to stick the landing here, can bring is that mobility and escapability. Now, I know, like, you look at the rushing stats, not really too much there to show for it, but in terms of maneuvering around the pocket, being able that escapability, and then also being able to throw on the run under pressure, he can do a lot of those things that Beck couldn't. And I'll give Beck his credit. Towards the end of the season, you did see him start to do a little bit more of the ad-libbing as the season kind of went on. But Mensah does that, it's more natural to him. It's more what's in his skill set. So being able to have that can kind of let this off. And we'll get into the schedule a little bit more. Not that we have the full one out, but Miami is going to have a couple of warm-up games before their schedule gets tough. And so we'll be able to see how this offensive line group is kind of shaping up and growing into it, and give them a couple weeks to mesh. But having this running back room returning the way it is, having the receiving core being the way it's shaping up to be, where it potentially could be even better than it was last year. I think this offense, I know we had concerns at times with Shannon Dawson's play calling, but I think this offense should be able to function at a similarly high level that it did to last year.
Yeah, I think maybe you'll find almost like a balance between. So this year's offense, I would call it, I don't know, maybe top 30, and 2024's offense was number 1 in the country. I think you might find a balance where that might be like slightly higher, where you have more talent running back and receiver and quarterback, but the offensive line just won't be the same. Like, Carson Beck in the national championship game in the entire season, I mean, it felt like he had 11 seconds to throw at all times. I don't think Darian Mensah will have that kind of luxury, but regardless, you are still getting a quarterback that I think is better, and an offense that should, in my opinion, be better than last year's than the 2025 offense, but obviously worse in 2024. But the defensive side, I'm loving everything that we're seeing right now in that defense. That defense. And I said this on Thursday. I think it's probably, you could call it a hot take. I think this is a prediction. The 2026 defensive line will be better than the 2025 one. Obviously, Bain, Mesidor, incredible. I really do believe that, looking at the guys that they have for 2026.
I know, because I believe Ruben Bain was on CBS Sports doing an interview, and he was like very excited for this young group. And so I think it's going to be tough to beat, because I think just the sheer dominance that we saw from Bain and Mesidor this year is going to be, especially in the playoff run. I know the regular season at times they weren't the most flashy, but that playoff run is going to be, from a defensive line standpoint, is going to be really hard to replicate. Now, I really like what they do adding Damon Wilson. I really like the guys returning. You have Ahmad Moden coming back, which I think was a surprise to all of us after his playoff run. But alongside him, growth from Justin Scott. You look at Armando Blunt, Marquise Lightfoot taking a step forward. Hayden Lowe potentially stepping into this rotation. So I really like it. I just think it's going to be very tough to replicate what this group was doing last year.
No, I mean, not only that, you are bringing in Jarquez Carter from Ohio State.
That's
and
true.
The defensive lineman from Nebraska, who you just got.
Yes, true.
You got those 2 as well for depth purposes. I really believe, I think a lot of this stems from my belief that Damon Wilson I think he slots right into the Mesidor spot. and I think he's gonna just wreak havoc right away. I love Dame Wilson. I love what he did at Mizzou. I think he kind of slides in perfectly to what Mesidor did, and I think Marquise Lightfoot can and Armando Blunt. I know Blunt can play inside, outside. I love what Blunt can do as young age, but Marquise Lightfoot to me, I am expecting a massive step up from the kid, and I think he's going to be incredible. But not only that, you mentioned it, Hayden Lowe getting a full season, Herbert Scroggins. I love everything that defensive line brings, and Moton's obviously a game wrecker on the inside, paired with Justin Scott, who should take another leap. These are like that defensive line to me that like from 2025, it felt like a lot of times it was Bane and Mesidor, and then you had Moton coming in, and and I think next year, like those guys are only going to get better. And yes, you lose Mesidor and Bane, but the guys, it's almost like you're rebuilding in the aggregate, and it feels like they're just going to have more consistency among all their guys instead of just being Bane and Mesidor.
Yeah, I think it's fair. I think that is fair. But I like maybe in terms of depth, it's better. But I mean, I
Yeah,
think
it's depth and rotation. Like when you're keeping guys you're able to rotate these guys at a consistent rate. They're going to be able to be fresher and have more times. There were times in the fourth quarter where it felt like Bane and Mesidor were gassed because they had to be on the field at all times.
Yeah.
And I thought the defensive line was incredible. Don't get me wrong; they're the best defensive line in the country. But I believe that this defensive line can be somehow even better next year than the current group that we have. That's just how high I am personally on that defensive line.
I think it's definitely there's a lot of talent there, but I just want to see it a little bit before because it's just that group that group just felt so special on the front, and now you're getting some of those guys back, but then just not having the key two guys on the edge, and where Ruben Bain, as great as he was on just playing the outside, Miami just moved them all around the front, which what made him so special. And then in terms of pass rushing, they moved those guys around to kind of create mismatches and advantages. So that's like something, just Ruben Bain as like in terms of his versatility to be lined up anywhere, I think is going to be something crucial that Miami's going to miss. But don't get me wrong, I do really like what this grouping could bring next year. Don't get me wrong in that. Yeah. But I think another key thing is linebacker group. I think we want to see a little bit more in terms of development there, but we do get Mo Torre back, and that's going to be a big add for Miami. But the secondary is coming back completely unharmed. Aside, you lose Keontae Scott, you lose Jacoby Thomas, but all your main outside corners, Damari, Xavier Lucas, OJ Frederic, all coming back. Ethan O'Connor potentially stepping up. You had Omar Thornton. We saw what Bryce and Zachariah Porza were able to do this year in terms of in the back end. So I really like the DB group that's coming back to this Miami team as well.
I agree. It's hard to replace a guy like Keontae Scott. And this was one of the questions I was frequently asked on Thursday. And I want to hear what you have to think. So obviously Keontae Scott was huge in the nickel. Who do you think kind of takes over that spot of so it wasn't only the nickel, it was more like he was used as a blitzer a lot. He was used as, in that kind of spot, the rover. Bryce Fitzgerald kind of took that spot when Keontae Scott got hurt, but Bryce Fitzgerald's a ball hawk and he had 6 interceptions this year, and kind of putting him in the Scott's role, he doesn't get that many interceptions. He's not able to do that kind of role. So I am curious, maybe Omar Thornton steps up. Where would you think?
Because that's the only guy I think that brings that physicality in terms of what Keontae Scott did in terms of run support, chasing guys down. Because I'm thinking, because I don't think I think Damari, OJ, and Xavier Lucas are all cover guys mainly, so I don't see any of them doing that role. They're more perimeter boundary corners. Ethan O'Connor, maybe he probably has the speed to play that role, but I didn't see too much of that when he was playing in terms of filling out the role. Because they just sometimes use Jacoby Thomas as a spy for quarterbacks. It's like a truly unique way that they used him last year that I'm trying to think if Miami has a corner or I don't it's not popping up in my head the guy who can potentially fill that role right now. Maybe that just is Omar Thornton and what he does, because love what the guy was doing in terms of I watched a little highlight film, so maybe I don't know, can't say I know too much about the guy, but as a thumper coming down, being physical, chasing guys around, I could see a guy like that potentially doing it. So I think it is going to be tough to fill that Keontae Scott role, and I think it's more of I want to wait until spring practices so I can see where they kind of try and do some of those things. So I
I
think
agree. I would also, I mean, maybe one of the true freshmen is able to step up and maybe something like that. But Omar Thornton to me gives me a lot of Jacoby Thomas vibes and
that's
everything that he does. So I wonder if they might just stick Bryce there because Bryce did a pretty decent job in that role. And then you maybe go Zachariah Poyser and then maybe you move one of the corners to safety. You have a lot of depth anyway with some of the true freshmen from last year between I believe Seatbelt Waters is going to be a true freshman, and then Jabari Antoine, his second year. I know you did lose a couple guys between Jadias Richard and Amari Wallace. Dylan Day I believe, is coming back. So there are guys that I think could kind of fit that role, but it feels like it's going to be more plug and play, see what it looks like. I think Heatherman's going to have to kind of fix it or at least look at it for a while before he's going to, try to see that guy because it took a while for like when Keontae Scott took in that role, he was incredible, but it's hard to kind of replace the amount, the how incredible that he was. It's hard to replace that.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be just like I said, it's truly a unique role that he played this year. That it's hard to find a guy who's as quick, as agile, as physical, and just could play the run as well as Keontae Scott does. Could chase quarterbacks around like he did. Like you think about the A&M game, he had 2 sacks and a forced fumble on Marcel Reed. So it's like to find a guy to truly replace that is gonna be very, very tough. I'd say. So
Yeah, and then you had mentioned it with linebacker. Linebacker would be the only thing I'd be a little worried about. So when you lose Popo Aguirre to the portal, which that was a little bit of a shock. Motori comes back for his 8th year. I love that. I love that he'll be back. It's a huge comeback. A guy that I think they're really interested in, Cam Pruitt as a freshman, maybe. You lose Bobby Washington as well. I know Kevin Wiley is a freshman.
West to the draft.
Maybe Kamal Bonner. I know that was a name that was mentioned quite a bit. And I think Chase Smith might have another year.
Yeah. Well, Commando over here brought it up. Chase Smith is I'm pretty sure is back, and we saw him get into that rotation a decent amount this year, in spurts. So
Yeah.
I definitely see him like kind of stepping up, and maybe make just in terms of guys who have experience just being on the field, kind of fill in that role. And so maybe it is a guy like Kellen Wiley. I saw a little bit of his tape online. People talking highly of him. So that another guy you could potentially see filling out that second linebacker role, because we know Miami is going to really want to play what 5, 6 DBs a lot of the time, and then so just you have that set up. I'm pretty sure they're probably going to go a little bit lighter like they did last year, which again is why you're going to need more physical guys in that secondary to go fill out that Jacoby Thomas role and that Keontae Scott role, just so you have a little, so you're not as, you're a little lighter in the box in terms of you're having less linebackers in there, and then you got to have to fill that out with some strong physical DBs. And so that's definitely something to watch out on in terms of how Miami fills those holes of not having Jacoby and Keontae in that sense, but also maybe you do see more 3 linebacker sets from them next year. So things could change, but so a lot to kind of come out of that grouping. I think just to wait and see on.
Yeah, it's very early. We're in the off season.
Yeah.
We're still through the portal. We're still, guys are still available. Miami might upgrade, do whatever. It does feel like, though, just from looking at this team, that things look right away like back to thinking about title contending. Getting back to that spot right away. It feels that way at the moment.
Yeah, 100%. It does feel very much like, okay, where this is not a 1-year thing. Miami's going to be able to build off of the success they had this year, and we're going to be able to see it kind of translate into something more sustainable. Just because like the youth that's on this team, that's spread out in terms of everywhere on the field. You have some of your core leaders like Fletcher coming back. So I think that should really help Miami kind of sustain the success. And, you see these young guys start to step into roles now, not only 1, but 2 years. You think about Jackson Cantwell being a true freshman, not coming in next year, but being on the playoff run. I think we saw him at the Cotton Bowl. The man's massive, but having a guy be able to go and follow the team and be a part of that success. Darion Coleman's another name. I'm pretty sure he was around for, was it the Fiesta Bowl or for the championship too?
He was around for the championship. I don't remember seeing him for Fiesta. He was definitely there for the championship.
I know he was there for the championship game, but like having these younger guys see what it takes to build off of the success and seeing what championship football looks like. And now hopefully they take some of those habits, some of those lessons that they've learned from being around the team and seeing what this team kind of developed. And that kind of helps them build their own success for next year and for years to come. And so that's how you create program with sustainable success, is that these young guys build upon the lessons that they kind of got laid out for them year in, year out. So I think, that's why this year was as big as it was, Miami ending the way it did and just going on, because now it's setting a foundation that this team can build success year in, year out. It's not maybe it's not a natty next year, but it's something that we could see coming eventually. So
yeah. I mean, like Miami's at the moment tied for 9th in national championship odds at plus 1,600 according to FanDuel. They're expected to go kind of right back there, and it's kind of, to me, speaks about at least the standard for Cristobal and company has changed. At least it's changed from, this year I thought it was win the ACC should be the goal, win a playoff game or two. They've exceeded expectations. You won 3 playoff games. You made it to the national championship, lost on the final drive of the game.
Yeah.
That to me is like, well, if that you've kind of set that as your own bar, your goal at a minimum should try to be to get back there at a minimum. The bar has changed. The standards have moved. At a minimum, the goal should be to try to get, just get back to the playoff and do the same thing again. It's hard to do it in this league, especially with the way that college football is at the moment, with NIL being spent left and right. It's hard to, replicate some things in year after year. But for a team like Miami, with the amount of money that they have and the talent and the development that they have on some of these guys, everything is kind of there for Miami for the taking, that they can just get back to it and kind of, start on the grind again, over and over again, get back to the natty.
Yeah, definitely it does. But do you want to talk a little bit of schedule? Because
yes,
is there anything else in the portal in terms that we haven't touched yet?
I don't think so. I think we've hit every. I mean, even special teams they fixed.
Yeah, definitely. Just to hit on that really fast, we know Carter Davis kind of struggled towards the end of the year in the playoff run. So you bring a guy, Jake Olson at Northwestern last year, 19 to 21, only 2 missed field goals. Only missed 1 PAT in his career. Maybe last season. I think last season. I don't think that 70 is over the career. But point is, but one struggling part is for the career long of 47. Not the most promising in terms of legs, but accurate, consistent. So could be a good guy to come in next year. Then they brought in
Jake Weinberg.
Yes.
He will probably just be a kickoff specialist from what I know, because he
was 12 and 19 at FSU last year. Yeah. So not great. So yes.
I wonder, I imagine you might have to do some changes at maybe kick returner. Obviously they didn't even get they had maybe 3 kick returns total.
Yeah.
They did not want to test Keelan Marion. So
really this postseason at all. So
I believe in the natty, I think Keelan Marion maybe had 2 attempts total, and then Malley should just stay as the punt returner. So kick returner, I'm not, this is not something I'm going to stress about right now. But yeah, let's talk schedule. From what we know, schedule comes out, I believe the show starts in 6 minutes, which is crazy to even do a show for a schedule release. From what we know that our week 1 game has to be an ACC opponent, and I believe it is down to FSU, Stanford, and UNC is the only 3 teams that don't have a week 1 opponent currently. Now, Stanford has a week 0 game against Hawaii. UNC is playing TCU in Dublin, and then FSU's, I don't know who FSU has week 0, but from what it usually looks like, and also week 2, Miami's playing on a Thursday, so that cancels Miami from playing on a Monday. So they're probably going to play on a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, a Friday or a Saturday, I imagine. That to me screams Stanford on the road Friday night opening year, which would suck. I can't really fathom that you're the national championship runner-ups, and you're going to start the season in Stanford. That would be just brutal. Just brutal.
Now, is it the best team you're playing? No, but also having to go on the road the first game of the season. And yeah, like, and this is something to really point out, especially if you get Mensa, like, I don't really feel I really don't feel like this conference is gonna once, the same thing we said last year, but like I don't see too much in Miami's way of going out and winning the conference next year in terms of just the schedule they're playing. Now Clemson could be tough to go and beat. You expect them to be refreshed after a down year, but FSU not looking great. Duke, they lose their quarterback, so you gotta expect something there. But also, yeah, like if you're starting out the season at Stanford, there's a lot worse ways you could start out the season.
I
In terms of,
guess
like FSU is at home.
FSU would just be fun.
FSU
FSU
would be
would
really fun, but that's a rivalry game, and anything can happen in that type of game. So yeah, it's on the road. Yeah, it might be that's a little rough to have, but in terms of a schedule, like fine, I'll get that easier game out the way on the road. And kind of work out where the rest of the season goes after that, because then you have 2 games at home before you end up in Notre Dame, and so 3 warm-up games to start the season sounds pretty
Yeah.
nice.
Well, yeah, and you really don't play Notre Dame until you hit November, and that's the weird thing. Like they play them November 7th, so it's in the middle of the year. I'm curious I'm pretty sure they only have 1 bye week this year. Everything to me is like it's a little bit different. Like last year's schedule, you could hate on it as much as possible about Miami had 8 home games and they didn't leave the state of Florida until November 1st. But like that schedule, yeah, it was favorable to Miami until it wasn't with the bye week. FSU bye week, Louisville, and then a lot of
Yeah, it was just
a lot of football games plus 2 on the road to end the year.
Mhm.
Like that didn't end up helping. Now you have, I believe, is it 6 road games? Or is it no, 5 road games? You got 5 road games. You're looking like week 1's on the road. Notre Dame's on the road. Clemson's on the road. Like these are tougher games. You even got Pitt and Virginia Tech. I think Virginia Tech's gonna be a good team. You have some tougher games in my opinion. So it looks like it's gonna be a little bit different, at least of the schedule. I'm curious where the bye is, because they can't play the 17th, I believe, or that weekend. The weekend of the 17th is Bruno Mars performing at Hard Rock. So that would
Oh,
either be a road ACC game or a week 3 bye. And
mhm.
a week 3, or I guess a week 4 would be a week 4 bye. That would suck. That'd be
Yeah,
brutal.
that's fair.
That would be brutal.
Yeah, but like I think we should be able to sustain the success here. Like I think, you know, weak schedule, Miami should be able to keep their success.
I
Notre
agree.
Dame,
Yes.
so
Yes.
going on.
But look, the goal at a minimum, and we've said this since August.
Yeah.
ACC is the very, very bare minimum.
Mhm.
Like
Honestly, low key, just
winning a national championship matters significantly more
get
than
yourself
the
back to the
ACC.
playoffs. But
But
yeah,
come on, just break it.
just at least be there. At least be
Just
there.
be there. Just be there. Like,
Well, if we're there, there's not a team I'd really pick against us. But
well,
like, yeah, like don't lose the random game in the middle of the year.
yes, don't lose the easy one. Like Mark Cristobal and his team plays up against big opponents and they lose the easy one. Don't lose to, let me see, like a tough, like a not even
Virginia
a
Tech
road game.
would be a one that we like. Virginia Tech at home.
Well, yeah, Wake Forest and Wake always plays weird. Like
Mhm.
I can't. They go to North Carolina a bunch this year. That's one thing. Or the Carolinas at a minimum. They go to Wake, they go to UNC, and they go to Clemson. That's 3 games in the Carolinas, and they host Duke. A lot of games against Carolina. It's a weird schedule, but it's a relatively easy one. Apart from Notre Dame and
Let me
Clemson, you
sure.
really don't know what everyone else looks like. I also don't even know what Clemson is going to look like. Notre Dame is the toughest opponent, and you don't even have to beat them. Objectively, you don't even have to beat them.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to just because obviously
Yes.
what. Sorry,
You
I'm
want to
watching.
beat them. If you found a way to beat Notre Dame again, oh my gosh, it'd be
Oh my god,
unbelievable.
that'd be
It'd be
so
unbelievable.
funny.
Yeah, yeah, it would be great. But like, in theory, think about the ACC schedule. You should be at the top of it. You should be at a much higher rate than everyone is talent wise. You're the more talented program. You're the better team in general overall. I think it's nuts to assume that like the ACC should not. It should be a pretty low bar to clear. just make that the bar. Just
Yeah.
make that the bar to clear at a minimum.
So
That's
just so people can see what we're talking about right here, like
yes.
just to answer Anthony's question over here, Miami is not playing a single team, single like ranked team outside of Notre Dame. Now maybe a
Yeah.
team like Clemson climbs back into it. Pitt was ranked in spurts last year, but
Virginia Tech might get ranked.
maybe you know, they have a lot of transfers coming in as a result of it.
I'll give you at a most 4 teams are ranked when we play them. I
Yeah.
think at most, and that's like, oh, FSU beats Bama again somehow. Like
Mhm.
that's how it would take. Like that, it's one of those where I can't really see us having that many ranked games and Notre Dame being like, oh, how good it, like this is a litmus test for Miami, which I think is kind of dumb. But it will be a good test regardless.
Yeah,
I'm
like I think it's going to be a crucial one to win just because like in the case where you are you're 11-1 end of season and then maybe you lose the ACC championship and your only loss is to Notre Dame, like Notre Dame experienced last year, got
let's
kicked
not
out
do
because
that.
you didn't have a significant big win throughout
Yeah,
the
you're
season.
right. You're right.
Now maybe Clemson is back next year and Miami beating them at Clemson is Miami's like signature win in the ACC next year. But also, you know, winning this game against Notre Dame, I think is going to be huge just because you look at the rest of it, and unless Bill Belichick does something crazy with North Carolina, they're going to be bad again.
Boston
Pitt,
College sucks.
Boston College sucks. You just cross these first 2 games out.
Stanford, unless their new head coach changes everything about their program in 1 year, I'm not like I know it's going to be a 10 o'clock game, but should be an easy win week 1. Like you're looking at that schedule, and it's like, I mean, 10-2 should be the bare minimum.
Yeah.
Bare minimum 10-2 with those 2 games. I'd say if you lost the games against, I'm not even gonna say better teams. I think we're better than them. Say you lost to Clemson and Notre Dame, the 2 toughest environments that you're gonna walk into. That team should still make the ACC championship game. Still should win that game. So I'm not worried about like the playoffs should not like it should be playoffs and the ACC championship game should be the bare minimum at this point in my mind. Just from looking at the team and looking at the schedule, it looks like that should be the bare minimum. Things can change over time, but that's just my first thought right now.
Yeah, 100%. Like it is very like the ACC once again looks to be very winnable for us. Like given the fact that 7-5 Duke won the
All right,
ACC.
whoa, schedule is out. Schedule is out. I got it.
It was out officially. Oh shoot. Okay. Well,
Let me share my screen. I was right. It is
oh wait, no,
Stanford.
don't reveal. Don't reveal.
All right.
Big reveal here. We're reacting to it live on stream, people.
It's gonna look weird because it's the entire ACC. But let me find
Miami,
it.
the Hurricanes have a post.
Oh, they do?
No, I'm just seeing if I'm looking to see if they do.
All right. Well, here's what we're using right now. All right. We got Stanford week 1. Then you got FAMU week 2, Wake Forest in Wake week 3, Central Michigan week 4, Clemson week 5 in Clemson. Then you got your bye week. Then after your bye week, it's Florida State, Pitt, then UNC, Notre Dame, Duke, Virginia Tech, Boston College. So you end the year with Boston College. I like that. End the year with a cupcake. You get UNC, kind of a cupcake right before Notre Dame. I like that. The bye week's a little early again.
Yeah, the Miami has the actual schedule on their IG. Let me see if I can
pull that one up. I think the bye week is early again. I'm not a big fan of that early bye week, but I do like that it's right before Florida State. You get a full week of rest before Florida State. Well, Florida State will have to play Louisville and then Miami, which that's nice. FSU's got SMU week 1. Yeah, I think it's weird. It's definitely a little bit different. There's no prolonged bye weeks, but there's no prolonged road stretches. There's only one stretch of 3 straight home games. Definitely, like last year, felt like we were home all the time until we weren't home all the time. You got it, Shay?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, there we go. Oh, that is not a high. Oh, there we go. Loaded a little bit better.
That'll work.
Yeah, that'll work. But yeah, as you can see here, like you're gonna have
probably the easiest 2-0 start to the ACC schedule you could probably have, right?
Yeah. I mean, like look at like that is very doable for if you're Miami. Stanford week 1, FAMU week 2, Wake Forest week, really good start, really a manageable start there. I know it's 2 road games your first 3 weeks, but you kind of got to deal with it. Central Michigan, like that first 4 weeks you should be 4-0. It's supposed to get you started, warmed up, start the season, and then you kind of get into a little bit tougher of a stretch here. If Clemson's back, that on the road, Florida State at home, rivalry game. Pitt,
Yeah.
they're usually decent, so like you got to expect that out of them. I think it's very like this Notre Dame game. I think is going to be huge for our standings, just because that's going to determine where we end up getting ranked overall very high. If we get
Yeah.
ranked highly, because that's going to be later in the season. It's going to be what teams kind of like the committee's going to remember. That's going to be around the time when those like I think that's maybe it's a little before, a little after, but like those first committee releases are going to start coming out, and I think that could really affect us with Notre Dame being that late in the year.
One thing I'm seeing here, Shay, Stanford's a Friday game, FAMU's a Thursday game,
Yep.
Wake is a Friday game, Virginia Tech's a Friday game. I don't love that. We're
Yeah,
notoriously bad
I
Friday night.
I don't love it. I don't love it, and that many weekday games, in terms of fans getting out to the actual game itself
Oh,
is
well, okay. At a minimum, though, one of them's at Hard Rock, and it's just Virginia Tech, so it's not the end of the world.
oh, okay. Yeah. Wait.
Because like Wake is a Friday night in Wake, and Stanford's a Friday night in
Okay.
Stanford,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
FAMU's FAMU, like it's FAMU.
FAMU. Yeah. Whatever. Not people weren't really going to go that one either.
You do get 6 days off between Stanford and FAMU, and then 8 days off between FAMU and Wake.
Yeah.
Weird for sure.
Hmm.
I would say the best thing that they did give us, like Central Michigan, is a warm up game for Clemson, and
Yeah.
then after a tough game like Clemson, I would want to play FSU right away, but a bye week to prepare for Florida State, another one of my opinion, one of your tougher games just because it's a rivalry game. I
Mhm.
like that. And then UNC, which we imagine would be a cupcake, a warm up game for Notre Dame the week after. I like that. I'm maybe just higher on Virginia Tech than most, but I think Virginia Tech on a Friday is a little bit worrying of a
That
game. But you got 3 straight Fridays or 3 straight home.
that and also, yeah, about to say, like, unlike last year, having 3 straight home games that end your season is
Love that.
is very nice in comparison to this year when last 2 games had to be on the road against Virginia Tech on what was their homecoming, their biggest game of the season. It felt like, and then a Pitt team that just beat Georgia Tech at that point. So I like last 3 games being at home, kind of rounded out. If you need to put some points on people to kind of prove yourself towards the end of the year,
You
those
definitely have that.
those games should be able to help you do that, especially being at home. And also having senior night, having the last game of the season be senior night is going to be just really cool to have.
Oh
So all
yes.
of that combined, I think is very nice to see. If you're right.
I do enjoy the 3 straight home games. I think that's probably my favorite part of the schedule is that you end the year at home. It felt like for a lot of years we've always been on the road. You only have what it looks like one quote unquote cold weather game, which is going to be which looks like Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Um, One thing I'm just looking at in general, and I wonder if this is just me. I think there's 3 SEC or Friday night games in the ACC on the week of November 7th. Very odd. I don't know. I'm just looking at this. Syracuse plays Clemson on a Friday. Duke plays NC State on a Friday. Georgia Tech plays Louisville on a Friday. Virginia Tech plays SMU. I probably said that. That's four Friday night games for the ACC, and then Miami plays on Saturday night. I don't know. That's odd.
Yeah, we're bringing up the whole ACC one just for a second, but yeah, that is
A lot
an
of Friday. The ACC is starting to kind of come into this Friday night slate a lot. I'm not.
shout out to Hunter over here. They took it personal after Mars.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, also
Yeah,
that
it just feels like a lot of Friday games.
sorry, the picture of Speed in the right
I
corner.
know. I know.
I just saw it.
I
Not the
know.
CJ Bailey lover.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't. I. It's weird. It's a weird one for sure. Four Friday or 4 games, 4 of your 12 games not on a Saturday is weird. What was it last year? Was it 2? Right? Because Notre Dame was on a Sunday
Notre Dame was on
and
a
Louisville
yeah.
was on a Friday.
Yeah.
You 2 games not on a Saturday. Now you got 4.
Mhm.
That's a weird one. They love this. They love this bye. They absolutely love putting Miami on a bye week, week 6. They love them there, and that means they're gonna probably put parent weekend being Central Michigan, another early one. Just looking at it, like
Yeah.
from just a basic standpoint, like we knew the opponents already. It's more just the order of when we play them,
Mhm.
and if Shay and I were to ever fly to any of these games, when we would go, I'll do like Friday night in Stanford.
Not bad.
Just going there seems like a cool place to go.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm like squinting at the screen right
Oh,
now.
you're good. You're good.
I'm trying to get a good look at this. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just weird having all these games not be on Saturdays. 4 of them in a year is just a very interesting choice. Like, I get one of them was because you have a Bruno Mars concert at so like
But that
okay,
game's on the road still.
that game. Oh yeah, that game's on the road, so it's like I don't know. Yeah,
And
so
like, and I get it that Miami is like one of the few teams. Like, there's the ACC is in a really weird spot where like half of them
you know
are
what,
playing
Romaine,
9 conference
Romaine,
games.
yes, that's why they're putting Miami in the spotlight on these different days.
Standalone could be the reason. Like having
Yeah.
them on standalone games, I
But
can
also, like, why would if you want? I mean, maybe Clemson's like a primetime.
if that see that's what I'm thinking. That they're of the Saturday games, they're really big Saturday games. I think they want Miami, Clemson, Miami FSU, and Miami Notre Dame in the prime, like that being a 7:30 ABC
Mhm.
spot
Yeah,
versus like maybe they don't want Miami at that noon spot anymore. Maybe they don't if they
yeah.
want Miami like Miami Virginia Tech, they think it's to be a fun
Well,
game on a Friday.
well, because look, I'm looking at just the other teams. Louis, I think a lot of these. I mean, it might just be with like how the schedule is now for
I
ACC
know.
teams, with like some of them playing 9 conferences, some of them playing 8. Like, there's a lot of teams that have 4 of these out of off non-Saturday games. Like Louisville also has 4. Georgia Tech has
Yeah.
2. FSU has 4. Let's
Yeah,
look.
Louisville has 4 non-Friday games. Now the Louisville Ole Miss game is a Monday. And then they play that is weird. Louisville's got 5 days between Ole Miss and
Oh my
Villanova.
God, that is
What?
awful. I
That's
mean,
a
it's
weird
Villanova, so like I
I know.
think
I
they're
know.
picturing that as like, oh, okay, you got your hard game now, 5 games,
Still,
8 days to prepare.
I
Um,
don't love that at
I
all.
would have loved that either way if
Yeah.
I'm a Louisville fan.
FSU's got 3 Friday games. SMU No, wait.
FSU's got 4 non-Saturdays. I can't tell if they're Fridays or Saturdays.
FSU's week 1 is a Monday against SMU. It's a Friday against Louisville. It's a Friday against Pitt, and then they always play Florida on the I guess on Black
Mhm.
Friday.
Cal has 3 non-Saturdays.
I think this is just the ACC trying to lean into something like this.
Maybe it's that.
I
Syracuse
think
has
they want
3
more of
3
them.
non-Saturdays.
I think they want to be in more standalone spots.
Yeah, that might be
And, and
it.
and that could be just for the fact that like Miami was in a like the ACC was deemed in such a weird spot because like it's the ACC, no one wants to watch them. It also could be just the reason that the ACC was in a like they were kind of grouped like they were never the top game. An ACC
Mhm.
game was never like a standalone elite top game, and maybe if you put them on Friday, more people are going to start watching them on Friday. That's my only thought process right now because it does like this is a lot of Friday games for the conference in itself, and I think they're trying to lean into that kind of talk because I think they want to be respected more. And the best way to do it, put them on standalone games, make them enjoyable football games.
Yeah, that's fair, but I'm trying to like I'm looking at some of these matchups here and like, did they pick the best ones to go and put on Fridays if they wanted to make that like uh,
No, that's the other problem.
that's the problem here. Like no offense, nobody. Wait, sorry, what day is Stanford? I don't have like I don't know how the hell you're
Stanford's a
calculating.
Friday night. Stanford's a Friday night.
Like I don't think you're gonna attract. I know Miami's, which is fine. Miami's gonna attract a lot of eyes coming off the season that they just had, but Stanford on Friday night, like, well, and like, yeah, I mean, we get to this thing, like it doesn't like I get it, it's money and maybe, but I don't think they've chosen the best product to put on Friday nights if that's the way they were gonna go about it.
That's true, because I don't think their idea was like, what if we put our best games on Friday night though? Because then
Well, at
like,
least we gotta have, like, one early on in the season to kinda, like, set the tone here,
well,
like, "Okay, we're gonna."
of these, what are you seeing as the best Friday game? Because to me, it looks like it's Louisville FSU.
That's really the only one I'm looking at, like, it is
Yeah.
like, I guess they just wanna have some product on there, which fine, I guess. Oh, maybe
Duke, Virginia.
Louisville GT,
Oh, I like
um,
that.
Louisville, Georgia
That's a
Tech,
fun game.
a few weeks later.
Virginia Duke is a fun one. Rematch of
Yeah,
the ACC championship game. Miami Virginia Tech, obviously. I mean, that's a really good Friday game.
mhm. Yeah, I mean, definitely with the history. So, like, yeah, there's a few good ones, but, like, there's not your Miami FSU on a Friday or
Yeah.
man, which
Well,
I'd hated being a fan having to go on a Friday, F the FSU game, so I'm glad it
yeah.
is.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, you're also seeing like the AC championship game has moved. They took the Big 12 spot of being at noon on a Saturday. The
uh-huh.
Big 12 is Friday night now, so the ACC championship game is the first game because they don't want to compete with the Big 10, which
Mm,
is fine. I
yeah.
it's that's at being at noon makes sense in Charlotte still, whatever. It's that's the schedule. That's much I could say. Yeah.
I'm still squinting at here, like, yeah, it is what it is, and I think honestly, if you're Miami, just to let's flip back to Miami's version, Miami's schedule.
Yeah, that's a better way of looking at
Just
it.
just to let it load, whatever, that'll do. Um, but, like, if you look at this for Miami, it's a lot better. It's a lot I mean, just in terms of Miami managing this year, I really like our odds. Like, I
Yeah,
don't love certain things, like, obviously, starting the season on the road as the s national championship runner-up, like, what are we doing there? But, like, I like the start to the season, 4 nice warm-up games, especially with all the transition this team's gonna have to go through this year, like, I like that as a start. Um, you know, you're at home versus Central Michigan before you head into Clemson, so it's not like you're playing 2 massive games back to back. You have a bye week after Clemson to kinda, maybe there's some injuries, middle of the season, yada yada. Then you play Florida State at home, big rivalry game, so that's going to be huge. Pitt, fine. At UNC, fine. I would have liked to be home before playing Notre Dame, but also I do like 3 home games in the season. So
I do like UNC being again, I really believe UNC is gonna suck again. I have no reason to believe they're gonna be good.
no,
But
I don't think they've made
under the
any.
assumption that UNC is gonna be bad, it's a good warm-up game to have entering Notre Dame. And I like that at a minimum. And like having a bye week, you have Central Michigan preparing for Clemson, then Clemson bye week FSU. I like that. Like there are different things you're looking at. Like I can kind of get behind some of it. But I'm the Friday ones. I can't get behind a Friday. I can't get behind them right now. It's gonna take a little bit,
Yeah,
especially if like if you're a viewer. I mean, Deepwater made a great clear point. Friday is for Friday high school ball. I'm not. I've always Friday can be for some college games. Your Miami Hurricanes playing on a Friday night to me is utter woke nonsense. In my opinion, I can't lie to you,
yeah.
Shay. And we also suck on Friday objectively.
Oh, that's not our best day. Not our best day. So hopefully that doesn't trip us up this season. Hopefully, yeah. But, like, so take away the non like Saturday games, like, it's a fine schedule. Like, it's very very manageable. And if you're like us and you want to see the Canes be back in championship contender status, um, I would have liked one of Clemson or Notre Dame to be at home,
Mhm.
obviously, but we knew Notre Dame was going to be on the road. Obviously, that one was wasn't given home and home, but like, overall, I'm fine with the way things shook out for Miami this year. Just how
Yeah, yeah,
just
and
because I hate it. I think we both hated it. Just that last the being you lose. Well, you're trying to get into the playoffs and you need no slip ups. In the last 2 games being at home, like, it felt like, oh, this is gonna bite us at some point. Now we
yeah.
made it through it, but it was, the I think being
We
at home
we
ends
kept
the
saying
season.
we were like on the road, Pitt, Virginia Tech, in the
Mhm.
cold, teams that are scrappy, just wanna beat you in some way. Thankfully, Miami won those games both convincingly, or else they probably
Yeah,
wouldn't have gone into the playoff. But those 2 games, you kinda thought in the back of your mind, like, I'm a little nervous for those games as trap games, and it doesn't feel like you have that stretch of trap games yet. Maybe starting your season two out of three on the road isn't fun. And I most certainly don't love the fact that you're a national championship team starting on the road. Like, come on. I don't like that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like that I agree. That I agree does feel ridiculous. Like as the now it's a sucky game, which I think also contributed to why I'm like a little annoyed to that. But like now last year, Notre Dame as the runner-ups were on the road to start the season, but that was part of a home and home stretch that they had booked. So
Yeah.
I get it, but like I'm trying. What were the three games up for grabs this year? It was
Florida State, UNC,
they were. It was just. It was just. It wouldn't have changed whether they were home or away. It's just.
and Stanford. Well, FSU would have been the only one to be
Yes,
home.
yeah. You could have started the season off home with Florida State, and maybe you feel a lot better about that. But
yeah, and instead they opted for FSU being home Labor Day night against SMU, which I guess I don't know. I
like,
can't. I don't feel either way about it.
I'm just thinking like where Miami could have started the season off, and like when you had the three openings that they did, in terms of where like I'm fine. I'm fine with it, honestly. At the end of the day, because like, yeah, is that like? I mean, I know they mentioned it. Is this like official or do we?
So Mensa's been in the portal.
Yeah,
I think the question is, has he officially committed to Miami?
Yes, that is.
Now that
Yeah.
one, I haven't. I mean, the last I checked, it was never official, but it feels more and more like it will be announced within the next day or so. Like
Yeah,
that a settlement might have happened outside of court, and that he might be ready to commit within the next day or so.
Yeah,
At the worst, the hearing happens on the 29th on Thursday, and he still comes to Miami. So I think he's happy. I think he's coming pretty soon.
Yeah, well, okay, like Cello, this is so they might get it resolved before. I know that's the current date. Oh wait, okay, they just announced it.
They just announced that he's here.
Who just announced it?
I have not. I mean, I'm looking. I have not seen anything official.
I saw a no 3 tweet.
Yeah, and that one's obviously no 3. Yeah, the I haven't seen anything of the best one I've seen, or at least the best source I've seen, is Dennis Smith saying, "Never a sprint, always a marathon," with the Shawshank photo, which to me implies.
Well, yeah, it does feel like you're at the end of this. You're at the end of this saga right now, but
yeah.
I don't think it's official. Now, if you could send me like just tell us specifically where you saw it, that like we can go and double check. But yeah, like I haven't seen it either, so I think we just gotta wait. We gotta wait just a little bit, and then
there should be zero concern though in that him coming here. That to me is like, I wouldn't even I would just assume he's already.
No, I don't think it's. I think at this point it feels very certain that he's going to be here. Just because with them trying to find a reasonable solution to all the drama between Duke and Mensa, like I think we're at a point where this saga and all the drama with it is going to finally kind of go away. So but I mean, like we saw this. Oh, you're on ACC Network. Okay, I mean.
Oh, wait, ACC Network announced it?
Maybe they're talking about it, but
he entered his name in the portal, I believe, officially Wednesday.
Yeah,
his name
he's able to officially enter the portal the other day.
The commitment to Miami has not happened yet.
The TRO is not done. Like the TRO temporary restraining order is not like that's in effect up until his hearing date, which is now the 29th. So there's still plenty of time for this. Now, like I said, if they could settle out of court, figure out a solution outside of court, and then he's free earlier. But as of right now, he can enter his name in the portal, but he can't officially enroll in a school, which is the current issue. So like that, like yeah, he could go and say I commit to Miami being part of transfer portal, but he can't officially enroll in the school with his NIL rights and everything like that. So that's kind of the whole concern with where it is right now.
At this point, I wouldn't even be concerned about him going to another school. I mean, he was at Miami today. The reports are everything is pointing to him being at Miami. It's like the only thing I would even be concerned about is like the court saying something like, oh, he has to return to Duke to fulfill something, and then
Yeah.
the settlement gets filled out. I'm not really concerned. I think he is. It's Miami or nothing at this point for him. It
Mhm.
feels like it's everything to Miami. Also, the money that is rumored that Miami is giving him is an absurd amount. The only concern I had originally was that Duke was going to try their hardest to make it uncomfortable and then try to retain him. He has no desire to come to Duke at this point anymore, to come back to Duke. I think he wants to just stay, to just go to Miami and, kind of chill there. I don't know. At this point, I think it's like everything is pointing to it. It's one of those things where I wouldn't even stress. It's like it's, everything but the official. It's just not official yet. Once it's official, like I just think it's almost official at this point. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, it does feel like I said, so like, yeah, I mean, we've seen all the stuff, so it does seem Jaden, like Jaden just said, you're on the campus.
Yeah,
Feels
he's on
kind of set in
campus.
stone. Even then, like there hasn't been any other teams significantly rumored for him. It's really just been Miami, the only team that's popped out. Now, maybe Lane Kiffin wants 4 QBs on his roster and goes and spends $20 million on them, but like there's it seems like there's really no chance that he's not a Hurricane. Now maybe there's a chance, the tiniest chance in the world he somehow stays if Duke's able to work something out. But from everything I've read and everything I've heard, doesn't seem like that's going to happen. And it seems like he's going to be a Hurricane sooner rather than later if they're able to work out the stuff behind the scenes without it entering into court.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. I think we've hit on everything thus far. We even got the schedule to come out during the show, which is nice. We got the schedule. I still can't decipher how good or bad it is. I mean, I enjoy parts of it, but we won't know anything official like until August, like until the season goes on, of like how you feel about these teams.
Mhm.
But from a basic standpoint, I'm okay with it. Like I'm not saying ACC totally screwed us over. Like we needed this, we needed that. Like no, it's a schedule. It's a schedule.
Yeah, it's schedule looks fine, should be manageable. A lot of bad teams in it that Miami should be able to take advantage of. But also, now maybe it's different now that we've had success now, building off that. There's been some slip ups here and there, as we all know. But I think I speak for all of us when I say doesn't matter what other games we win, but that Notre Dame game does feel like a must just to shut them up.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
But even if we win, they'll be like, it was last year's team that was totally different. We had Jeremiah Love.
Oh, yeah.
So that team would have won it all, would have beat Indiana. So, but yeah, the
They'll find a way to make it about themselves.
Yes, they will. And I'm going to talk about it for 2 seconds. But the fact that they get in the top 12 and they're in the playoffs is the most BS thing I've ever seen in my life. So I hope us beating them and they beat up on their cupcake schedule. And then last week, CFP committee's like 13.
I would love if it was like BYU and Miami both beat them.
Yes.
And then their best win is like UNC. And then they're like, we're 10-2. We deserve to be in there. We won 10 games this year. It's like, we won 10 games this year. You had us at 12 at one point. Put us in. And then they don't get in because
honestly, if I was the committee at a certain point, I'd low-key leave them out of spite, just because that is most crybaby stuff I've ever seen. It is so dumb, them getting their own little portion where it's like, if Notre Dame is the 12th spot, like why isn't it all independent teams?
Yeah. It feels like
if somehow UConn or somebody was 12-0 and was the 12th team in, why wouldn't they change? I'm just saying, like it seems really dumb what they're trying to do with that, and just seems like pandering to a crybaby fan base and ownership and
an objectively good team. Like they're a really they are one of the most talented teams every
really
single
good team.
year.
You don't need to be like, hey, if we're 12th, we're guaranteed in, right? Like
you don't. I don't think that they like. I know this. I don't know if it's
not all independent teams. It's literally just the Notre Dame clause.
I feel like they would have said it if they said Notre Dame and UConn, but it looks like they've made it clear it's just Notre Dame. Like if UConn went undefeated, went 12-0, who's to say that they don't get in? Like What if they got it? Like, I don't know. We have no idea. But they feel like they play by a different set of rules sometimes, and it is a little frustrating. They do have a really good team. Like, don't they have the number 2 like Heisman? I'm pretty sure CJ Carr is the running favorite for the Heisman right now. Yeah, he's tied for the Heisman. And Notre Dame is the top odds to win the national championship, and they still want some things to go their way.
Now, maybe this is potentially fair, but also if all brands went independent, you'd lose. I don't know. I don't think that would really be a real consequence, just because how revenue sharing with TV money works. I don't think that would happen anytime soon. Now, maybe there's a chance in 10 years, this is a one big college football super conference, and we don't have to worry about all of that. But yeah,
10 years from now, I don't know if the ACC still exists, which is why I want Miami to get an ACC championship before they leave it. Before they leave it, just get one. Just get one. Like, come on, get a minimum, get one. But look, if a national championship comes before an ACC championship, I could care less. Could care less. But yeah, just keep winning the games you're supposed to win. It's January 26th of a 7th month off season. So let's just enjoy what we have in front of us right now.
Definitely. But that will do it all for another episode of Miami Primetime Live, brought to you by FanDuel. Shay here with Jaden. Hope you all have a good night. Later.
Yes, appreciate you guys. See you.